BlackCat Tarot. How are you doing? This is a look at Greg Abbott, Governor Greg Abbott out of Texas, and if he is going to win his term that he's going to try and take a fourth term, November 3rd, 2026. And I'm just going to use the Governance Oracle by Trish James and see if I can get any kind of a sense of if that is going to be something he's going to win, if he's going to retain his seat for a record fourth time. Now, Texas apparently does not have term limits. Surprise, surprise. Good old boy network. And I hope that the Dems can find candidates that will appeal to people. Hopefully enough will come through about what they've all been doing that maybe there could be an upset, because we know that they're going to cheat. But anyways, let's take a look at Abbott. I was just thinking of the midterms and see what's going to happen for him when he's up for his next battle royale to maintain his power. I took a look at his birth chart, and I will put that in the description box. Woo! A lot of Scorpio, and I mean, I'm married to a Scorpio, so one of my children is, and I had known many of them, and you know, you've got the ones that are the eagles that fly high, and you've got the ones that give a bad reputation. And I think it's pretty clear where Abbott is. Pretty amazing he survived the 8,000-pound oak that almost took him out while he was jogging after a storm. Not the brightest on that. Anyway, so I'll be doing more readings about him because as a fellow paraplegic and someone that is aghast at his and appalled at his agenda, I can't let him away with it without trying to show and share what I can. Although this is all alleged for entertainment purposes only, these are cards. Sometimes they can be eerily on the nose. We just have to wait and see. All right. So, focusing on Greg Abbott of Texas, will he retain his office as governor November 3rd, 2026? Does it look like he's still going to be governor? I have a feeling he might. And it's not because that's what I want. It's just I have to go with what I gut feel. So, but let's just see what these cards want to tell us is likely. At this point, things can change. But at this point forward, is he likely to maintain his seat as governor in 2026, November 3rd? So we get unwavering stance. Look at that face. So he's not going to change up any, there's not, same old from him. He's not going to be offering anything new. Unwavering stance. Feels already hostile. No. Shadow operation. Does he have a little help to make sure that all his numbers are boost it up, because this is something that he's using, and he's connected to that shadow agenda of Trump. No surprise. Outside the trusted circle. Now, this could be, I don't think he should never be trusted, but I worry about them being able to find uh, a candidate. This always tends to be problems with Democrats that will figure out a message that will get through, and it's hard, to the really ultra conservative cult followers. So we have outside the trusted circle, but let's just see what its environment concerns. Hmm. Outside the trusted circle. There's a plane behind the figure in environment concerns. So my concern is that there may not be at this point, they may not be going toward getting a candidate maybe that people would accept. This person may even bring up like environment concerns. Let's see how it doesn't really feel to me like that is maybe going to fly there, but let's just see. We do have an airplane there. I get beneficial impact. And concede defeat. Well, if something is a beneficial impact and someone concedes defeat, it's possible I could also read this as if for some big changes come through, it could be that his unwavering stance and connected to the shadowy element of Trump may by then put him outside the trusted circle. Just trying to think about between all the stuff that's leaking now and what could potentially come out by November of 2026. It could be an impact, and he would have to actually maybe concede defeat. I do think there's a chance he could. That this could mean that if it becomes unpopular enough, and especially with the Epstein things, there could be some changes there that would actually work against him and put him outside the trusted circle. Um, that he wouldn't get reelected. There's the focus on economic growth, the economy, I'm sure, and jobs. And I do see issues of society dealing with um, collapse where money and stuff like that is concerned. It's very, so I'll be looking at that too. There's so many things to read on. It's like trying to read on with a fire hose, it's just so much. Lacking readiness. I sure hope it is not um, the Democratic candidate that will end up going up against him. Selling secrets. Lacking readiness and selling secrets. So economic growth that is lacking readiness. Okay. Oh, that's what came with that. And selling secrets, briefed in command. Well, that looks like that could be some shady information that could end up coming out. The kitty cat is, with the limping, is getting a little better, but I'm still very concerned. watching her. She's playing with a leaf. Isolated outcast. Not sustainable. Well, he keeps getting that kind of a not sustainable, not that there's, I don't know. I think he could go outside or lose due to the fact that he's going to not be reading the signs on the wall, you know, the writing on the wall, as they say, rather. Um, if it isn't pointing to just an inept or unappealing Democratic candidate that is not in the trusted zone. But this looks like there's a bit of a vibe here that it could be actually speaking about Abbott. And I think people are going to want to move forward with things like economy and the environment and stuff in within Texas. And I think there's selling secrets. There's this tawdry stuff, coming out, this scandalous stuff that doesn't make him look good. And he's still going to be appealing to, not he's still going to be part of the secret shadow agenda. And it could be that more people will realize that, and he would lose more support and be outside the circle of trust at that point. That's possible, unless they're talking about um, someone that's just not going to work out as a appealing candidate for Texas and the Democrats. Just not sustainable. But this not sustainable kind of makes me feel like his efforts to maintain what he's already had is not going to be sustainable. So I have hope that he could potentially lose. Good chance yet, I think. Fall from grace. Now, this is what I'm talking about. If there's more scandal that could drag him down for his loyalty to Trump, I think, and his insistence on sticking to that agenda, it could hurt him. The blame game. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be flexible. He's going to he might not be using the right tactics. And once again, not at the time seeing the writing on the wall, and it might not work out for him. I see open negotiations, reversing course. I think people want change, and they don't want the things that have been done in Texas, especially where it's hurting those that need benefits and so on, so forth, their economy. They want someone that's open, literally open negotiations, like reversing course. And this is where we're getting this not standing, it just the same. I can see him doing that because that's what he's done for all these years, and now he wants it once more. Well, I don't know that he's going to get that fourth time, at least as of now. It looks like scandal is going to come out. It could not reflect well on him for this. I think he's going to give it a really dirty effort to steal it. Working on a solution. He's with the shadow, doing shady stuff. Working on a solution, I get energy management. Maybe he'll be trying to throw out some promises. Collective action and people that want justice that are protesting. Bottomless money pit. And we had the card about the economy. I think by then, and it's probably already happening now, people are not going to like his position there, and they're not going to feel like they're going to get the changes that they want to see from same old Greg. And they want to see somebody that isn't going to be doing this blame game, but is actually working on a solution and putting energy into doing something, right? Energy management. And not just using the taxpayers like we're a bottomless money pit for them. And he will be protested. Liberation prevails. Feminine card and health regulation. I should look at his health. There's going to be a regulate there. I feel like this liberation prevails feels good. There might be some issues also where people are concerned about more old folks that have stayed too long. He may not have that support, even where he used to have it. I think we're going to see shake up with some of these old timers. I get trusted advisor, controlled speech. I just don't think he's fresh enough for people there. External influence, global governance. I think this is the outside world coming in and affecting what the government is changes there in Texas. And I think it could change things up very much. And he's got an American flag on his patch on his shirt. Where there's not this isolated grift, no, cutting taxes for the wealthy and, uh, you know, hurting those that need help. People, I think, are going to more, just enough, maybe. Again, I'm getting that a hopeful bit of hope there. That, and it really looks like, especially when I'm getting like those protest cards. Yeah, again, he's got that shadow ruler energy that he's not his own man. He's down with a shadow old agenda, unresolvable differences. No, I just don't know. I think there's a very good chance that this man is not going to be able to keep it in the bag. All right. Let me just give it one more. How is Abbott's health going to be in 2025, 2026? Is he going to start looking more tired since he's already had, this would be his fourth term? Is that going to be, I'm sure, across the board, I think we're going to see Republicans and Democrats not wanting aged people that have been in there too long. And I just don't think this is going to be, it may not be popular enough. He may not keep that popularity. I really have hope for them. So let's take a look also because the health thing came up. And that to me also can mean uh, oh, just unhappiness with the cuts to Medicaid and things like that. And here he is, somebody that should know better, and he doesn't seem to have, he seems to just relish in the hatred game and the blame game. And that's what comes up for him. But let's see his health. Let's see if these cards can show us anything. What do we need to know about Abbott's fitness for fourth term, and how he's going to be health wise from now and up to 2026, 2027? I get peace treaty. Again, the white flag. Giving up, surrendering. Forced hand. He might be forced out of there. I really hope so. Because the other cards we're talking about, he's going to probably have to concede to defeat. Selfish agenda. People, I think, are going to realize that, he's just going to try to push more forced shadow agenda on them, and he's selfish. Economic challenge. So that really comes into the forefront for Texas. Hmm. Strained relations. He's just not going to have that support. I'm not seeing so much necessarily that looks to me, other than maybe stress, anything that's popping up with these cards health wise. So I might flip out to the just standard rider weight. Failed negotiation. Strained relations. He's not going to convince people, I think, once again, that he's the right man for the job. Okay. Again, maybe energy and stamina could come up. Let's see what we get with it. Yes. So there could be issues starting to come up, especially where energy and stamina, I would think so, he's getting older, are concerned. For power and money, or for money and power. It's not really about, he doesn't give it if he's fit or not. He just wants to keep power and money and the benefits from being in office. And there's a note that's that's very interesting. So what's paired with the for power and money, we get no. Again, I just don't think, I think that there's going to be maybe just enough people that are like, we're enough with this greed. You're not helping us enough. And I think the prior two cards was, yes, energy management. They want something from someone else. They want things to do. It keeps coming up with their energy, maybe their power grids, whatever, what have you, and their economy, jobs. And they just don't, once again, I'm just not getting a sense that they're going to get that from him. There's a taint on him by what the cards are showing me, and his intimidation tactics, not sustainable. So maybe by then there's going to be enough change and dirt under the belt here, even more, that is just going to be unpalatable to enough Texans that you could see a no. Especially, I think, even some of older folks like myself, that are on the younger end of being older, like we're in our 50s and 60s, uh, look at him and go, no, no, no. We generation, X is really looking at younger and wanting younger, candidates. And I think that's across the board. I think that is bipartisan. We need that. And not on either party being connected to this old way of doing things that is breaking down now. Ineffectual. Again, trying to work on a solution. Environment concerns keep coming up. Environment, maybe there's going to be issues too if you have any kinds more flooding, uh, and taking care of infrastructure, things like that. And if they don't think that he's going to put the money there, and it just doesn't look like they trust him to do that. And it did say in the first thing, outside the trusted circle. So I don't think he's going to end up getting it, or at least at this time, a very strong likelihood of a no. Now I just want to use the Rider Waite deck and see if I get cards that confirm. So will Greg Abbott be reelected November 3rd, 2026, for governor of Texas? Will he get it again for uh, the fourth time? Yes or no? Does that look likely or not? Can you show us, Spirit, Holy Spirit, who, well, whether or not Greg Abbott will be governor again for a fourth time, November 3rd, 2026? See what we get. Well, there's some kind of a restriction, containment restriction from being able to move forward with that, or from succeeding, being able to progress and take the win. It's like your car is out of gas, or your tires are slashed, or flat, rather. And he just doesn't have the vision and the sense to figure out that he needs to go about this in a different strategy. He's going to run the same platform, same agenda. Here we are talking about economy, money, family, and then the uber wealthy, and justice. And money and justice are on the hot seat with him. Is there going to be an investigation where he is connected legally here to some sort of benefit? Because we kept getting the, for money and power. I think so. There could be scandal here legally that draws him in, that could restrict him from winning again. And if nothing else, than being attached to the bought that he's been bought by the wealthy. There's too much pride and arrogance, I think, in wanting the spotlight. People need hope, not arrogance. And I just don't think he's got the charm now that people want. I think the people of Texas are not going to feel like he works with them. He works with, oddly enough, being more into people's business, despite the fact that the Republicans are supposed to be about less government interference. They're creating all kinds of restrictive laws. And I'm telling you, if anyone's going to take you, restrict your sidearms and whatnot, it's going to be them. If they have to, if you turn against them, Texas. I'm getting the Knight of Swords. This is fast moving. And it's also making haste. It's reactionary stuff. It's not well thought out. It's shooting from the hip, literally. And it's a Page of Pentacles. Maybe trying to say that you're for education or children, trying to play that old chestnut. Or it could be that issues where children education and benefits and health is needed. There's a great deal of backlash with that Knight of Swords, swiftly. I tend to think it could be that. Again, because we're talking about families, and families want to have a greater sense of basic security and less stress. Not all this, hey, we suddenly have no health care. Hey, we suddenly have, it's like, well, don't vote Republican. Yeah, there's a feeling like he's just part of the dishonest. He comes off as like he's all family values, but it's a bluff. It's dishonest. It's a front. It's just to steal your vote and run away with your taxpayer money. No, I don't think he gets it. There could be some kind of a delay, probably because he contests things. I don't know, but I don't think he's going to. I do think there's a delay. I think he's got to be turned over to a fresh person, and I don't think it's him, and he's not going to want to relinquish it. But he's done so, put a fork in him with the Ten of Swords and the Moon. Again, there's a lack of trust and transparency, especially. So I think there's going to be scandalous stuff that is going to make his attempt to retain his seat not work out. The bullying, um, Trumpian tactics, yeah, and people are done with that. They're wanting to leave the tempest that and the drama and the mess and the choppy water and go into smoother times. People are tired of the drama and the bullying and the bull crap, all the immaturity and not really helping people. I think, there's some wising up going on, and he shouldn't try and force himself into office because I think he's going to know, no, you're not going to be accepted there. Not happy about it, feels disconnected. But people also just feel like once again, they can't get through to him. He doesn't take their concerns seriously. He has his own agenda, a selfish agenda. And they're willing to try for someone new. They don't want him in again. That they realize too, I think it would be naive for them to trust him, but they're also desperate enough to switch him out. People are not excited about him as the candidate. And there will be clarity where he's concerned. I feel like exposure of problematic, scandalous type of stuff. Yes, there's an escalation, a rapid picking up of leaks. This is about recognition and winning. And I see, that's what he wants. This is him right here, the King of Cups. He wants to declare himself the winner. I hope they don't declare him the winner. That could be a problem. But I think there's recounting. I think he's not going to give this in, and we'll have recounting. That will be very contentious. Yeah, for a completion. So I feel like going over because there's going to be funny business, as we know, going on with the votes. Those looks like people are going to be going over it more fine-tooth comb and looking at the results. Celebration. there's an approach, the Knight of Cups. What does that mean? Somebody has to walk away, and it's clear. I I really hope it doesn't work. I think he's going to have to walk away. Knight of Pentacles, yeah. I just feel like they're going to look at him as like, you're disabled and you're older now. You were tired of people that are been in here too long. And, I don't have a problem with someone that's disabled. I'm disabled, but let them be younger. We're tired of the old agenda. And I really do think with all the changes that we're seeing in the environment, it won't just be the environment that is bringing new land and all kinds of really big shifts and changes, but we're going to see it in governments globally. That's my feeling. And I just have this feeling that like with Russia as well, and it might sound silly, but like with the volcano going, that's been so many hundreds of years before. I don't know. I think it's kind of an omen of some really significant change coming that Putin can't stop, and that humans cannot. Well, humans are going to have to adapt. There's just going to be new stuff, and they're not going to be willing to be the same sucker over and over again. That's really what it amounts to. More people realizing that they were suckered, and I'm glad because I think it will matter. All right, let me just one more thing. How does Greg Abbott's health look for the next 2 to 3 years? Will it be in decline? I mean, we all are every day, but I mean, like in some way that is really apparent. Because I do think, that is one heck of a pace. And we need fresh people. Show me Greg Abbott's health for the next 2 to 3 years. What does it look like? Well, he's got a 10 of Pentacles. It's an ending and a new beginning card. And there's some taking some risks as well with the Fool. Well, he's older, and I think there is the beginning of more decline. And maybe even with this Fool, I kind of got dementia. Kind of like, oh, where am I? The Tower, something unanticipated for him health-wise within 2 to 3 years, and where he's going to need more assistance. He could become more disabled, just like any one of us, like myself. Your independence can decline as you age because you wear out your shoulders, your arms, and all that. You can have heart attacks, strokes, and I think he could fall into that line of stroke energy, something sudden. Heart attack as well with that card sometimes, collapse, and where he needs help. And he's like maybe more like a child again and has to have family looking after him. Honestly, with those cards, that's not good. We have, there is a trying to fight back, trying to overcome obstacles, and temperance. So there is going to begin some serious decline, and he also has a health event coming within the next 2 to 3 years, where he would need assistance. and rehabilitation. So I think it could even be a stroke. This kind of seven of wands card after the tower is making me get the vibe of rehabilitation that takes time and patience. And I just don't think he's going to be up for it. We have a Queen of Pentacles. That's probably the wife. And the 10 of Swords. Feeling like he's done. And you notice it's all along the spine. That can be issues. It can be pressure ulcers. It can be just complete fatigue, and where you're not releasing stress and it's gonna need to be released. And there's a new day dawning in Texas. It keeps coming up. Sun right there. The dark, he's part of the darkness that gets washed away, so to speak. And I think he's going to need, in all likelihood, care. That makes sense. It wouldn't be terribly surprising. And again, because, limited mobility, I don't know whether there would be problems with eyesight or just his very limited mindset can also be represented by the blindfold, not wanting to see reality and do what he really could for himself. He's staying put, he's staying stuck. And again, I feel like there could be issues with more childlike capacity after a devastating health event. There's also legal matters at hand with justice and death. So, yeah, the Seven of Pentacles and the Star. He'll be in the spotlight for legal issues that will end him. There's scandal or something coming up, and I think also health issues. People want someone that's independent and that will help them with the economy, I think, with the Nine of Pentacles and the Eight of Wands, where he's concerned. Yeah. And the Lovers and the Ace of Swords, there's some kind of clarity that they're just going to, I think, have with regard to him being not the man for the job, that he's part of the country club class and his health isn't going to hold out. No one's is at the end of the day, and it's really time for him to let someone else have a chance. And that's what I get. So if you appreciate deep dives like this, please give me a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. Thank you.